Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're really getting into The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Our goal here is to pull out the key ideas for you, looking at how our behavior, maybe more than just, raw intelligence, really shapes your financial life.
Yeah.
It's not about complicated formulas. It's truly about how you behave with your money.
Exactly. I think Housel's main point really is that real financial success, it's less about what you know on paper. It's much more about your mindset and, crucially, the actions you take day in, day out.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Housel gives these fantastic contrasting stories. First, there's Ronald Reed. He was this janitor, super unassuming, lived quietly, old car, the whole thing. But then, when he passed away, people were just stunned. He'd quietly built up an $8 million fortune just by saving consistently and investing patiently for decades.
And then you have the total opposite story, right? Richard Fuscone, Harvard-educated, big job at Merrill Lynch, lived this huge lifestyle, fancy cars, massive house, everything looked successful. But then the 2008 crisis hit, and he went bankrupt.
Wow. So the gap between them. It wasn't smarts or education.
No, not at all. It was their behavior. Totally different approaches, different habits around money, deeply ingrained stuff.
But why is that so hard? You'd think the smart, educated guy would nail it.
Well, that's exactly Housel's point, isn't it? We often learn about finance like it's just math, pure logic. But our brains, they just don't work that way with money. He argues managing money well isn't really about a super high IQ. It's more about being, well, reasonable.
Reasonable, not rational. Explain that a bit.
Right, because we're human. Our choices about money, they're almost never purely rational, cold calculations. They get tangled up with emotions, what we want right now, our ego, keeping up with the Joneses, social pressure, all that stuff.
Yeah, and being reasonable can feel, counterintuitive sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially if everyone around you is doing something that looks rational but maybe isn't sustainable.
Exactly. It means understanding those biases we all have, like FOMO, fear of missing out, making us buy when prices are high. Or maybe pride stopping us from cutting our losses on a bad investment. So it's more about building habits, maybe systems that work with our human nature, rather than just trying to fight it with pure logic all the time.
Okay, building on that idea that it's not just pure logic, House talks about luck and risk,
Mm-hmm.
how much they factor in.
Mm-hmm. Big time. He brings up Bill Gates. Think about it. Gates had this incredible stroke of luck. He went to one of the very few high schools in the world that had a computer back in the 1960s.
That's amazing. Just being in the right place, right time.
Exactly. That access was huge for his path. That doesn't mean hard work wasn't involved, obviously, but it really drives home the point that outcomes aren't always 100% in our control. Luck plays a role. Risk plays a role. It's a good reminder not to judge people or ourselves really too harshly based on financial outcomes alone. There's often more going on beneath the surface.
That ties into another kind of surprising idea he has. Wealth is what you don't see. What's that about? It sounds a bit backwards.
It does sound backwards at first, because we're so used to seeing wealth as, the Lamborghini, the huge mansion, visible consumption. But Housel flips that. He says that stuff. That's just money that's already been spent. It's gone.
Okay.
True wealth, the kind that gives you real options, real security.
Yeah.
That's the money you haven't spent. It's the saving, the investments that aren't flashy. It's the freedom to maybe quit a job you hate. Or just the ability to handle a sudden crisis without panicking. It's like a silent strength, not a loud display.
Okay, that makes sense. Then he offers this sort of two-part strategy. Save like a pessimist, but invest like an optimist. And history definitely shows us things go wrong, right? Crises happen, markets crash.
Absolutely. You have to expect setbacks. That's the pessimist part. So you save diligently for emergencies, for job losses, for the unexpected things life throws at you. You build that buffer.
But you don't just hide the money under the mattress.
Right. That's the optimist part. You need to maintain that long-term belief in growth, in the power of compounding your money, making more money over time. You invest with the view that despite the bumps, the economy generally grows and innovation continues. It's balancing that short-term caution with long-term faith.
Got it. And one last really powerful idea. He calls it a superpower. Knowing when enough is the key word.
Oh, this is huge. The danger of constantly moving the goalposts, never feeling satisfied, always needing more returns, a bigger house, a faster car. It can actually be incredibly destructive, not just financially, but to your happiness, your relationships. You can end up taking stupid risks, chasing more.
So knowing what's actually enough for you is the real strength.
It's a profound strength, yeah. Finding contentment and just stepping off that endless treadmill, it's key.
So wrapping this all up,
Hmm.
what's the big takeaway for you listening? I think the psychology of money really shows that handling money well, it's more of a soft skill. It seems rooted in things like humility, patience, thinking long term,
Hmm.
not just complex spreadsheets.
Yeah, at the end of the day, your financial success probably hinges less on what you know, like textbook knowledge, and much, much more on how you behave day to day.
So building on that idea enough, here's something to think about. What does enough actually look like in your life? And maybe how do your daily financial habits, your behaviors, stack up against that personal definition? Do they align or maybe diverge?
Yeah.
Something to mull over.